By 1st of September 1939, Germans invaded Poland, and that was the beginning of the Great War, what we call as the Second World War. It went on for almost 6 years. By September 1945, it ended. But along with the end of the war, there was also the decline or fall of all old ideas. And whenever old ideas will befall, तो ये तय है कि नई सोच, a new wave started emerging, and there was a new wave, a momentum in every field. It may be socio, political, economical, psychological as well, including fine arts. So you'll find a different wave in terms of literature, stories, novels, and so is in theatre and definitely in films. But obviously also in sports it started emerging. But before that, let me recap you. This is Samir Khasnis. I am from Shri T.P. Bhatia College of Science, and this background, what you can see, the wonderful institute is the same, and this is the turf what we have made for students to explore their sport abilities. And as of I'm going to speak about sports, but before that, let me tell you the second stanza of Song of the Open Road starts with a wonderful note called "Henceforth, I need no good fortune. I myself am a good fortune. Henceforth, I need no good fortune. I myself am a good fortune. Henceforth, I whimper no more. Postpone no more. I need nothing. Done with the complaints, libraries, querulous criticism. Strong and content, I take the open road." If you analyze, but obviously it speaks about we have to get down with the monotonous way of life. We have to explore new things. We should not depend on others. We should not say that somebody should come and help me. We should always be our own. In a simple line, I can tell you it speaks about being independent rather than being dependent. Of course, till this particular period of time, West Indies was dependent upon British, the empire, in political, sociological, everything, but economy as well. But in terms of sports, in terms of cricket, it was, as I said previously, it was headed by fair-skinned captain. Though many a times you will not find these captains worth enough to lead the team. फिर भी वेस्ट इंडीज टीम के कैप्टन हुआ करते थे ब्रिटिश, द फेयर स्किन. हाँ, एक हाथ दो ऐसे थे जैसे कि जॉन गुडार्ड, Jeff Stallmer and Jerry Alexander. They were actually good enough, and it was not in that number. Most of the captains, fair-skinned captains, were just made the captains, and they don't have the potential to be there, but still they were there. So इसी दौरान Jerry Alexander was the captain. He was also a wicketkeeper. So if you see how being independent makes you strong, and if you're not, then it makes you weak. Let me explain you this poem in a reference with in 1958-59 series of India और West Indies का बहुत strong connection है. That's the reason I'm putting it all into this poetry and in my reference of West Indies cricket. West Indies team came to India, and it was headed by Jerry Alexander, but obviously the captain. और उनके team में there was one fast bowler, ऐसा कहते हैं. He was the greatest fast bowler, one of the fastest men who bowled from West Indies. इनका नाम था Roy Gilchrist. The great Gary Sobers, even Hanif Mohammed, the great Hanif Mohammed from Pakistan, has said that Roy Gilchrist was terrific. So Roy Gilchrist was there in India. Roy was little, kind of hot-tempered because fast bowlers होते हैं generally. So when they came to India, they were playing against North Zone. ये एक match होते हैं जहाँ पे they just warm-up matches कहते हैं. And Roy was playing with the team against North Zone. तो स्वरांजीत सिंह नाम के एक batsman थे, a Cambridge graduate, a friend of Jerry, because Jerry Alexander was also from Cambridge. So they were friends in the college. And स्वरांजीत Singh was playing for North Zone. और स्वरांजीत ने एक boundary ठोक दिया for Roy. And Roy Gilchrist, as I said, was very angry. But obviously, इतना fast bowling करते हैं. So he went close to him and said something. And the second ball, the third ball was all bounces, and they were the fastest of the deliveries. Jerry Alexander, the captain, he turned up to the bowler and said, "No, you cannot bowl, such harsh and strong deliveries, as these deliveries can damage him or injure him, and you cannot even speak such rudely with this guy." तो दोनों में थोड़ा रॉय गिलक्रिस्ट एंड जेरी में थोड़ा बातचीत हो गई, थोड़ा मनमुटाव हो गया, काइंड ऑफ डिस्प्यूट. एंड जेरी इमीडिएटली टोल्ड हिम टू लीव द ग्राउंड. मतलब ही सेड इन द आफ्टरनून, "गुड आफ्टरनून, नाउ यू पैक योर बैग्स एंड लीव फॉर द वेस्ट इंडीज." On a indisciplinary action, Roy Gilchrist was sent back to West Indies. Obviously, Roy भी कुछ थोड़े गर्म दिमाग के थे, मैं ये नहीं कहूँगा. But then when he went back to West Indies, there was a great uproar because people, the local West Indians, thought this is injustice because इसके पहले बहुत बार उन्होंने देखा था whenever there is any run out situation and British people are playing, the umpires would give decision in their favor, kind of situation. Or West Indian people were very angry because of this kind of injustice in West Indies and towards the minority. ये एक्चुअली हम बहुत बार देखते हैं कि स्पेशल ग्रुप इज गेटिंग स्पेशल अटेंशन एंड it is obviously as a human nature to react, and people started reacting and there was a lot of insurgency in West Indies. As I said in previous, CLR James, great person, and especially if you must have checked out Beyond the Boundary. उन्होंने एक article लिखा in a newspaper called The Nation that Alexandra must go. This article was talking about how West Indies need their own West Indian captain, and he also recommended very strongly for a person called Frank Worrell. Yes, Sir Frank Worrell from Barbados. He said Frank Worrell is definitely a worth a captain and he should be made a captain because everybody follows him and he is a kind of George Washington of cricket. और मैं ये कह दूं कि Frank Worrell साहब was again coming back to the ties of India. He came to India as a captain for Commonwealth teams. Not for the West Indian team but Commonwealth. और उनकी कैप्टनसी के बारे में everybody was aware कि बहुत बेहतरीन कैप्टन है. So this article went on and people across West Indies started saying this is what we want, and eventually the West Indies committee made Frank Worrell the captain. अभी Frank Worrell साहब की खासियत देखिए, when he was asked that what team you want, he said I want these are the names, and apart from that I also want Jerry Alexander because Jerry was a very good wicket keeper. और जेरी ने एज ए कैप्टनसी किया था तो उनके पास एक एक्सपीरियंस था, सो ही वांटेड हिम एंड ही मेड हिम एज अ वाइस कैप्टन. दैट शोज व्हाट पर्सन फ्रैंक वाज, सर फ्रैंक वॉरेल वाज. और फिर दिस टीम ऑफ वेस्ट इंडीज हेडेड बाय द कैप्टन, फर्स्ट ब्लैक कैप्टन Sir Frank Worrell. Now he is recorded as a Sir Frank Worrell. Frank Worrell Saab with his team of young talent went to Australia 1960-61 series. अब इसमें यंग टैलेंट कौन थे? सर फ्रैंक वॉरेल तो थे ही, जेरी अलेक्जेंडर जो मैंने कहा, कॉनराड हंट, जो सोलोमन, रोहन कन्हाई, वेस्ली हॉल, राम एंड वाल्मीकि. ये आप सोचोगे वेस्ट इंडीज में कैसे आ गए राम एंड वाल्मीकि? यस, देयर वर टू ग्रेट वेस्ट इंडियन स्पिनर्स कॉल्ड राम एंड वैल. एक्चुअली इनका नाम था सोनी रामदीन एंड एल्फ वैलेंटाइन. And there was one person called young Gary Sobers. This particular team went to Australia and initial matches जो मैंने कहा warm up matches होते हैं, न्यू साउथ वेल्स, वेस्टर्न ऑस्ट्रेलिया, ये दोनों हार गए. And there was again like अरे यार ये टीम भी कुछ परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा है, kind of situation. But Frank had immense faith in his boys, and so the first test match at Gabba, Brisbane. ऑस्ट्रेलिया की तरफ से रिची बेनो, द ग्रेट रिची बेनो वाज द कैप्टन. नील हावी, एलन डेविडसन, one of the greatest all-rounders, greatest fast bowlers and left-hand fast bowlers that too, and a great batsman. और वो उनके साथ है नील हावी, बॉब सिम्पसन. You have to name it, and they were all there. And this was at Gabba, and the toss was won by Frank Worrell. West Indies went to bat. Obviously, initially थोड़ा downfall हो गया. Quick early wickets. Even Rohan Kanai was out, and then came Gary Sobers. 132, magical 132, and this game is there. Something which made world to understand that we have a great player among West Indies, and that was Gary Sobers. And obviously Sir Frank Worrell, now Sir Frank Worrell, तभी Frank Worrell थे. Frank as a captain gave him a solid support. Frank Worrell made 65 and Gary Sobers made 132. Absolutely marvelous inning. अब एक कैसे माहौल था वहाँ का, उसके बारे में आपको बताऊं. बिकॉज डॉन ब्रैडमैन, द ग्रेट डॉन ब्रैडमैन इंस्ट्रक्टेड द ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम, जो तभी कमिटी के कैप्टन थे, दैट वी शुड प्ले अ वेरी हेल्दी कॉम्पिटिटिव स्पोर्ट वेयर शुड नो नथिंग एज लाइक कमेंट्स एंड ऑल बैड थिंग्स. एवरीथिंग गुड शुड कम आउट ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर सीरीज, एंड सो एवरीवन वाज प्लेइंग अ फेयर स्पोर्ट. तो एक बॉल बता दूं मैं आपको. रिची बेनो, द स्पिनर, कैप्टन ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया, बोल गैरी सोबर्स, clean, straight, magical drive, boundary. और reaction देखिए, the captain of opposition जिनको बाउंड्री मारा है, रिची बेनो साहब is giving a applause instantly. वो भी not looking at the camera देख रहा है ना, no, instant appreciation. This is what the game of cricket is actually. And Sir Frank Worrell 65, 132 by Gary Sobers, including 65 by Joe Solomon, जिनके नाम मैं आपको बताऊंगा why he is so important in this match. And 60 by Jerry Alexander, the same captain, now he was vice captain. And Wesley Hall, 50 by Wesley Hall. Wesley Hall के बारे में तो मतलब you'll read lot many things with that cross, all the open button, and he would bowl. Oh, he was an athletic person, absolute and gem to look into. So West Indies made around 453 score, and then Australia came to bat. Good score, but Australia was all of great people. O'Neill 182, Bob Simpson, one of the finest players, 92. 8 रन से उनकी सेंचुरी मिस हो गई. Alan Davidson, as I said, 44. And this game was poised. Australia made 505. So, second inning when West Indies turned up for the play, again the same thing happened, including Gary Sobers. Jaldi out ho gaye, but it was again Sir Frank Worrell. Now Sir Frank Worrell, pehle, and he made again that same score, 65. If you remember, George Headley 21-21. यहाँ पे भी 65. And then he was ably supported again by Joe Solomon, around 49 runs. But one person was here, whom I'm going to speak in my next episode. The great Rohan Kanai, 54. Outstanding inning. And unfortunately, the score was not that great as the first inning. उनका 284 पे all down हो गया. And now Australia wanted to have 233. Last day. अब ये तभी का मैच था जब 9th of September शुरू हुआ और 14th of September तारीख थी जब ये लास्ट डे आया. Obviously 233 was nothing against West Indies. That was what the Australian media thought. और ऑस्ट्रेलिया की बैटिंग लाइनअप तो बेहतरीन बैटिंग लाइनअप थी. तो ऑब्वियसली 5th डे अभी तक के स्पेक्टेटर्स का रेंज था 35,000 पीपल. मतलब टेस्ट मैच देखने के लिए एक ज़माने में 35,000. आई रिमेंबर इट वॉज इन वानखेड़ेज. मतलब बुक्ड टिकट्स फॉर टेस्ट मैचेस. और इसीलिए शायद मैं ये बता रहा हूँ कि यंगस्टर्स शुड वॉच टेस्ट मैचेस, should promote test matches, because if you don't have test matches, test match is the exhibition. One day हम कहते हैं exhibition होता है और examination of cricket is actually test match, ऐसा कुछ कहा जाता है. So last day only 5,000 people. Media stand जो होता है ना, gallery of press was all empty because they all assumed ये match तो खत्म हो गया है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया तो ऐसे जीतने वाली है. But Wesley Hall had different ideas and he bowled it extremely well. और initially ऑस्ट्रेलिया के there was a downfall of Australia. But Richie Benaud and Alan Davidson, जो मैंने कहा बेहतरीन all-rounder, they started playing and they started picking up runs. Again, it was almost like Australia is there to win the match. Almost. Second last over, ये तभी 905 बॉल्स डाले ये इसमें. और एक बात बता दूँ, it was 1960s where other part of the world 6 ball overs, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में 8 balls over करते थे, 8 balls for 1 over. That was how the match was. And the second last over by Gary Sobers, he was bowling very good and he controlled both of them, Richie and Alan Davidson. और so ये मैच के सेकंड इनिंग की एक अलग बात मैं और बताऊंगा. जेरी अलेक्जेंडर वाज आल्सो अ मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर, शायद वेटरनरी डॉक्टर थे. सो इन द सेकंड स्लीप, नील हावे, वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट बैट्समैन ऑफ वर्ल्ड क्रिकेट, so he nicked the ball and went into the second sleep, and it was a low catch. Gary Sobers did one of the gymnasts of cricket, you could see, picking up that catch. और उनकी फिंगर इंजरी हो गई, तो ऐसा कहा जाता है कि ऑन द स्पॉट वहीं पे जेरी ने उनका ऑपरेशन भी कर दिया. यू कैन चेक इट आउट. एंड सो वेस्ट इंडीज एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया वाज नाउ पॉइज्ड. सेकंड लास्ट ओवर, गैरी bowling, and Richie Benaud wanted to pick up a cheeky single और रन के लिए भागे. Alan Davidson was running towards the crease, but Joe Solomon from mid-wicket picked up the ball and boom, there was a run out. So there was again a wave of yes, we can also make out kind of West Indies जो होता है ना, we whimper no more. No more complaints. Whatever it is, accept it. Whatever it is. And so they thought we have to accept it, especially Frank Warren. He was used to call, boys, be poised. Don't get overboard, excited. Just be controlled. Hum jeetenge. That is what the confidence what you have when you don't whimper, you don't postpone anything. You just look into the situation and okay, this is what it is and how I'm going to stand for this. Or then the last over. Ab ye situation dekhiye aap. Last over was 8 balls, 6 runs to win and 3 wickets to go. This is a test match cricket, bachalo. And to all friends as well. Last over, but obviously by Wesley Hall. And it was bowled first ball or ek single liya gaya. Then Frank Worrell, see the captaincy, see the dedication of that person, see the person how much he thinks about his players. वो भाग के आया और वेस्ली हॉल का कहा गया कि वेस्ली you don't bowl short pitch, no bounces it means, and no ball. तो वेस्ली हॉल ने कहा हाँ, but then I'll tell you what is the reason behind this is that he said, Wesley, if you bowl a no ball, you will not be able to go back to the West Indies because people will be very angry. He was so concerned about his player, forget about the victory and defeat. और इसीलिए उनके आप Westminster Abbey जहाँ पे उनकी grave है वहीं पे वही लिखा है कि we should not play always for the victory and defeat. It should be the spirit of game. And I suppose Sir Frank Worrell is a definition of what spirit of cricket is. तो उन्होंने कहा you don't bowl no ball, whatever it is, result जो भी हो. And I'm sure that you are going to do a great job. तो और उन्होंने कहा कि don't bowl short pitch to Richie Benaud because Richie was known for pulling the balls and hitting across the line. तो उनको आप ऐसा मत बॉल कीजिए. बट देन वेस्ली हॉल को कौन समझाएगा? ही वाज अ यंग गाय एंड फास्ट बॉलर. ही बोल्ड द सेम बॉल शॉर्ट पिच एंड in fact Richie Benaud साहब ने कहा है कि I even never expected Wesley to bowl me a short pitch because ऐसे situation में अगर hit हो गया तो it can go for the boundary and the match is over. And fortunately for us, for the cricketers, it was there and Richie unexpectedly went to in a dual mind. क्या करें? He went for the pull edge and Jerry Alexander got the catch. Now the match was 5 runs and 3 wickets. It was down now. Abhi the new batsman turned up was Ian McFinn and जैसे ही आए तो अभी इसके बाद उनके साथ जो खेल रहे थे वो ग्राउट, ही वाज अ विकेट कीपर. अब ये एक सिचुएशन आया कि वेस्ली हॉल के एक बॉल को ग्राउट ने स्ट्राइक किया एंड द बॉल वाज क्लोज बाय टू द बॉलर. ही पिक्ड इट अप और रन के लिए भाग रहे हैं और इजी, मतलब एक्चुअली इतना है जो मैं खड़ा हूँ और जो मोबाइल फोन है मेरा इतना क्लोज, बट वेस्ली हॉल वाज अनेबल टू हिट द स्टंप्स, सो रन आउट चांस मिस हो गया. वेरी नेक्स्ट बॉल द बॉल वाज हिट ऑन द एज, वेंट अप हाई. रोहन कनाई वाज देयर इन द क्लोजिंग वेयर ही कैन इजीली कैच. पर एक्साइटमेंट, वेस्ली हॉल एज अ बॉलर भाग रहे हैं यार्ड्स अक्रॉस एंड ही वांटेड टू टेक अ कैच, ड्रॉप्ड. ये लास्ट ओवर है. One missed run out, easy run out, one easy drop catch. Great, 3 runs to win. The next ball hit by Ian McFinn and they run for 1, 2. Now out of 3 runs, score था 233. 3 चाहिए थे winning के लिए, 2 run हो गए. The game is equal. And Australians thought, अरे यार और एक run लेते हैं and we can get it done. The victory is ours, and that to the first match. And they are running at mid wicket, around 90 yards from the wicket keeper. Conrad Hunt picked up the ball and flat throw. Could you imagine that? 90 yards, flat, accurate throw, stumps out. The wicket is gone. Ian McFinn, Grout was out. Grout out. And now the one last ball, matlab 2 balls, 1 run. 1 wicket to go and we had Lindsay Clean to bat. Bada tense situation, very tense. The next ball, कुछ भी करो भागना ही है. Lindsay Clean nicked the ball, it went to the square leg. जो मैंने कहा ना, Joe Solomon 65 and 49, and I said I have to tell you something about him. I'll tell you now what actually makes him so distinct in this match. He was at square leg. जो भी क्रिकेट खेलते हैं square leg से एक ही स्टंप दिखता है actually. You cannot see all 3. He picked up the ball. The batsman is about to get inside the line. मतलब Ian McFinn. He even jumped to cross the line, but then straight hit and out. The match was the first tie match in the history of world cricket. And I suppose, but obviously India के साथ भी India Australia का भी 1986 I suppose tie है. But when you think about tie match, this is one of the fantastic matches of the world. In fact, could be the number one in terms of excitement, I could say. और ये सीरीज वेस्ट इंडीज हार गया. I'll tell you that. ये वेस्ट इंडीज जीत नहीं पाया, हार गया. मतलब उन्होंने एक टेस्ट मैच जीता पर वो हार गए. But when they went back to West Indies, you won't believe it. ऐसा कहते हैं कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मेलबर्न वगैरह में लोग बाहर खड़े हैं एंड दीज ओपन कार्स. द वेस्ट इंडियन टीम इज गेटिंग अ फेयरवेल जो नॉर्मली विनर्स के लिए होता है. लाइक यू व्हेन यू कम विद अ वर्ल्ड कप यू सी इन यू नो प्लेसेस लाइक इंडिया हाउ यू अप्रिशिएट. उस तरह से अप्रिसिएशन. पीपल सेड यू डोंट गो. एंड दैट वाज आई सपोज एमर्जेंस ऑफ वेस्ट इंडियन क्रिकेट ऑन द वर्ल्ड फोरम. और ये एक बात कहूँ कि दिस वाज ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ द ग्रेट स्पिरिट ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेलियन क्रिकेट एंड सो वेस्ट इंडीज. एंड देन इट गेव इम्पेटस टू वेस्ट इंडियन क्रिकेट. अभी मैं और एक बात बताता हूँ आपको विच इज कनेक्टेड विद इंडिया. हाउ यू शुड बी. वो लास्ट लाइन है, स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड कंटेंट आई टेक द ओपन रोड. हाउ इट वॉज वन फेलो फ्रॉम इंडिया कॉल्ड नरी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर. अब उसी दौरान बाय 62 India went to West Indies, headed by Nari Contractor as a captain, because Paulie Umbriger Sahab, I said previously, Mumbai cricket के बड़े नाम थे. He said, I will not become a captain. He was offered the captaincy, but Nari Contractor was placed as a captain. He went there, and after the first and second test match, second at Port of Spain, third was at Barbados, and जैसे कहा वेस्ली हॉल के साथ और एक नया बॉलर था, and he was named चार्ली ग्रिफिथ. और नरी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर साहब वॉज ओपनिंग बैट्समैन, कैप्टन एंड ओपनिंग बैट्समैन. ही हैड अ ग्रेट करियर. उनका जन्मदिन भी बस ही वॉज जस्ट कंप्लीटिंग हिज 28 ईयर्स. अब नरी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर की डेडिकेशन बताऊं आपको मैं. ही वॉज प्लेइंग एट ब्रेबॉर्न स्टेडियम. ही मेड अ सेंचुरी अगेंस्ट ऑस्ट्रेलिया. और उसको शाम को लोगों ने स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के ऑफिस जाते हुए देखा, तो एक भाई साहब ने पूछा, नरी साहब आज तो आपने सेंचुरी ठोका, कहाँ जा रहे होते? ही सेड आई एम गोइंग टू माय ऑफिस इन स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया. आज दिन का काम बाकी है ना, तो दो आई हैव मेड अ सेंचुरी बट आई हैव टू गो एंड डू माय वर्क. दिस इज व्हाट नरी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर साहब वाज. सो ही वाज प्लेइंग अगेंस्ट यू नो वेस्ट इंडीज. चार्ली ग्रिफिथ वाज बॉलिंग. अब चार्ली ग्रिफिथ के बारे में फ्रैंक वॉरेल ने ऑलरेडी इनको बता दिया था कि चार्ली इज लिटिल फास्ट एंड ही इज वेरी क्विक. तो तभी हमारे साथ दिलीप सरदेसाई, वन ऑफ द फैबुलस प्लेयर्स ऑफ ऑल टाइम, और सुनील गावस्कर साहब उनको काफ़ी मेंटोर मानते हैं. सरदेसाई साहब ने कहा कि फेस करने के बाद नरी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर से, माय फुट, ये क्या फास्ट है? एंड व्हेन नरी स्टार्टेड फेसिंग हिम, तो उनके नॉन स्ट्राइकिंग एंड पे जो खड़े थे रूसी सूरती साहब, he started calling नरसी के भाई नरी, he is chucking the ball. chucking यानी थोड़ा थ्रो कर रहा है. तो नरी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर ने कहा कि we have to complain. And then the fifth ball was, अभी बहुत से लोग कहते हैं कि it was नरी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर little slow because in dual minds what should I do, and in that moment he thought I should duck the ball, और उनको hit हुआ. बहुत से लोग कहते हैं it was chucked. I don't know, I am not that expert. पर ball उनको behind the ears and he was down, it was all bleeding. He went to the dressing room. उनके बाद विजय मांजरेकर साहब आए. ये लोगों को पता नहीं है कि इसके बाद विजय मांजरेकर साहब को भी इंजरी हुआ और उनका नाक टूट गया था. एंड सो ही वाज आल्सो रिटायर्ड हर्ट. पर नरी जैसे ड्रेसिंग रूम में आए, बुद्धि कुंद्रन साहब ने लिखा है कि व्हेन ही केम बैक ही वाज ब्लीडिंग एंड देन सडनली स्टार्टेड स्क्रीमिंग. एंड गुलाम मोहम्मद साहब, द मैनेजर, वाज सो नर्वस कि यार कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया. एंड सो ही वाज पुट इनटू द हॉस्पिटल. अनफॉर्चुनेटली न्यूरो सर्जन जो होते हैं वो वहाँ पे थे नहीं बारबोडास में. एंड समबडी सेड कि इट इज़ फ्रॉम ट्रिनिडाद, जो ट्रिनिडाद है वहाँ से उनको मंगाना पड़ेगा. एंड ही विल कम टुमारो. एंड द सिचुएशन वाज वेरी ग्रेव. देयर वाज अ ब्लड क्लाउड. तो इमीडिएटली उनको सर्जरी किया गया. And when there was a need of blood, Paulie Umbriger, Bapu Nadkarni, Chandu Gorde and Wesley Hall, the captain of opposition, turned up and gave blood. और इसीलिए वेस्ली हॉल की सर फ्रैंक वॉरेल की ये जेस्चर पे कि ऑपोजिशन के प्लेयर को खून जाके देना, इसके लिए बंगाल क्रिकेट एसोसिएशन दे ऑलवेज कंडक्ट अ ब्लड डोनेशन कैंप कॉल्ड वेस्ली Sir Frank Worrell blood donation camp, and that is how Frank Worrell gave a message to the world that cricket is never in terms of religion, caste, creed, color or anything. It is all the spirit of game.